Facebook on, you may wanna turn the volume down or you're gonna get feedback. And
I think
good evening. I almost said good morning, everyone. I'm used to my habits. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Chit Chat with Nancy. And tonight, the Chit Chat is with Nancy and Mike Harrison. And I am just going to let you introduce yourself, Mike, and tell us a little bit about what it is you do. And then I've got some heavy hitting questions for you.
awesome, awesome. Nancy, great to be with you. And what a phenomenal platform that you have and a program. I just love your flight plan, working on my 90-day plan. And so we had just a great conversation about that. I'm excited about talking tonight. So let me just introduce briefly Mike Harrison, husband to my wife for 32 years. A dad to 4 and now a grandpa to 1. He calls me Papa, and that's little Owen Michael. And so I'm having the joy of my life with that. Ultimately, if you were going to give one word label to me, I'm a coach. I cannot not coach. And so even in conversations that I'm having with my brother or my sister or one of my kids, I'm always looking at, okay, where are you? Where do you want to go? And how can I help you get there? And so I'm looking forward to this chat this evening.
Good, I am too. And I've got some questions that apply to me. They apply to a lot of my listeners. If anybody who is listening to us has any questions, put them down into the chat bar at the bottom of the screen and we will try to read them and answer them as we see them. Um, so with that, I'm going to start out with Mike, you're a coach. Tell us about what it is that you do to coach.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So coming alongside people and help them getting really, really clear on what they want to do, what they want to be, and what they want to have. And I've really niched down to, because 70% of Americans, what's holding them back is their health, their physical health. 70% of Americans struggle with obesity or overweight. And that was life changing for me. I lost 120 pounds in about 8 months working with a coach, keeping me on track and moving me forward. And so I decided to take my coaching expertise. I'd been coaching mortgage people, realtors, financial advisors, and I really niched down to help people create a plan for their health. Now, oftentimes that turns into what their life might look like now that they remove that obstacle, or what their business might look like. You know, I use a coach approach to help them to discover where they are and to where they want to be. That's what I do. So coaching conversations just like this one, iron sharpens iron, the Bible says. And so a lot of times sparks fly, but that's okay. Pigs fly too, I understand.
Pigs fly, they do.
But it's always fun. It's really rewarding. I mean, I've served as a teacher, I've served as a pastor, I've served as, a parent to my kids. I'm coaching all the time. And it's those conversations that we really look at. How can we be all that we can be? You've heard that it's important to journal your thoughts. And you even had me doing some journaling in the flight plan. I think journaling is important, but equally important is what I call verbaling, talking with one another and getting, okay, letting myself hear myself think with another person, and giving that reflective audience is really, really important.
I totally agree. And that's one of the reasons why I do these live chats, because not only do other people hear what we have to say, but we're able to listen to ourselves and say, did what I say really make sense? Or do I need to rethink this? And I think both talking and writing is so important. But I think you need to have, first and foremost, I think you need to have a relationship with both yourself, again, so that you understand where you're really coming from. And then when you are reaching out to coaching these other people, you have to understand where they're coming from. It's not necessarily just about you speaking the words, but about speaking the words they want to hear in a way that makes sense to them.
Right on.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely does. Absolutely. I love the way that you said that.
Well, I've been doing this a while and it's what makes sense to me. And so I think, I can sit here and I can sometimes a person has to hear what you have to say to them, but if you can say it in a way that makes sense to them and it's something they want to hear, because if it's something they absolutely do not want to hear, they're not going to necessarily listen to you.
That's right. That's
So,
right. Yeah, and it might not be a no never, right? It's like, no, I never want to hear it. It's just like the timing of things, and so that intuition, I think a coach really needs to tap into listening, obviously, and then intuition of like, okay, let me just put a pin in this. I'll come back to that later, because sometimes we just can't hear it. I had somebody just share with me just an observation that they made, and this really goes along with your audience, is that 85% of the people that you're running into, that I'm running into, are just trying to hold it together.
especially now.
They're on, they're at their wits end. And so having empathy, that's one of the biggest values, character things that we can share with one another, is just be empathetic, be on the same path. I'm human, you're human. Can we connect at that place? And sometimes as a human, nope, I can't handle that from you today. I need to take a break. And on some days, we need to get our a swift kick in the pants, and we're ready for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's really interesting to talk about all of this, and especially now we all are right at that stress level where we're about ready to explode and go crazy. Especially we're both in Michigan and we've got one of the toughest um, requirements right now of any of the states that are out there. I mean, we can't even stand out in our yard and wave hello to our next door neighbor anymore because the governor won't let it. And I'm not getting into politics, but it's really very, very difficult to deal with things when we're isolated. People in general want to be we want to be with other people,
That's for sure.
and when we can't be, when we're isolated, even if we're isolated with our family, yeah, we're really tired of seeing those same faces constantly, and you would like to be able to have other people to talk to. That's got to have some sort of a detriment to your mind and to your health, I would think.
For sure. And can we pause to be aware of it, right? Can we, because the world, and that's what happened. How many of you have said, um, I just want this world to stop spinning and I want to get off for a moment? Well, guess what, folks? The world has stopped spinning. I mean, it has all but come to a complete halt. So now you're paying attention to the things that are good, bad, and ugly. And you have an opportunity to create what more good things rather than the bad and the ugly things. But if we don't stop, and here's what happened today. Karen and I took the two pups out, and we decided that we're going to take a break. We drove down Saginaw Highway here in Lansing, and I said, Karen, you want to grab something for lunch? And she said yes. And so we ended up going to some Chinese place, yeah, I won't mention the name, but anyway, it's my son's favorite place, and he works down at a hardware store. And so we called him, said, "Hey, we're going to stop in." And he said, "I just got off work." He said, "I'll meet you there." So he pulls up in his car, we're in our car, and he shares with me. And the reason why I share this story is that as I saw my son from obviously 6 feet or more away, he's in his car, we're in our car. I kind of teared up because I haven't seen him in 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And I just was so awesome to be able to talk, this two-dimensional thing, Zoom and all the broadcasting systems that we use is good, but there's just something about I see you, I hear you, and we had just a great conversation. But he told me this story later on Marco Polo or FaceTime, and he was at the hardware store today, and a lady came in. She had ordered something online to pick up at the store. She ordered the wrong product. And she's trying to get it so she can get her bathroom finished so that they can use the bathroom. And
That's not essential, is it?
yeah, and he said, "You did a special order. It's not here yet." And she said, I know where it is in the store. Can I please go into the store? And he's like, and she started to cry. And my son just said, I got you. I got you. I know exactly what you want. So he went into that. It wasn't his department. He went into that department, said, this is what we've got going on. And it was a little bit more expensive than what she had ordered online. And they just washed it out. And he took it out to the car, and he said, there you go. And she said, you are the best soul. Thank you. And it brought tears to my eyes that here he is just trying to be human, observing another human who needs a little empathy. How many of you have, ordered the wrong thing online? I've done it. And so here was an opportunity to connect. And if we don't slow down, you asked me the question about mental health. If we don't slow down and take this opportunity, it's going to speed up again, and we're just going to snap. So take this break. It's warranted.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I'm thinking about it. And I said the one thing that I see that is a positive coming out of all of this is, for the most part, people are more caring about each other.
Mm-hmm.
Every time we talk to somebody on the phone, every time we go through a drive-in and pick up some food, we say, "Be safe, be healthy." You know, we're trying our best to be positive for other people. I love the signs that say thank you. I love the at 7 o'clock everybody go out on your front porches and bang a pot or pan or something to say thank you to the people that are the responders. It's a good thing that has come out of this, and I'm just so afraid I'm starting to see some of the bad things coming out of it too, and I'm really worried. But I'm going to switch us a little bit from
Okay.
talking about just the mental issues of just being in quarantine and things like this. I put up a post on Facebook today that said, for the most part, and this pertains to lots of people who have chronic illness, if you guys, the listeners, don't realize this, 60% of the population in the United States have a minimum of two chronic illnesses. That can be heart, that can be diabetes, that can be Crohn's, that can be IBS, that can be fibromyalgia, everything. There's a list of like 30 different illnesses that come under MS. They all come under the category of chronic illness, meaning that it's something that you get that's long term and doesn't really go away. Now, how many of you who have or know of someone who has a heart condition or who has asthma, you look at them and it's a good day for them, they don't look like there's anything wrong with them. Chronic illnesses are often called the hidden illnesses
Mm-hmm.
because for many of us, we don't look like there's anything wrong. And we say, I can't do that. I can't walk that far. I can't breathe that well. I can't go to work because I can't sit in a chair for 8 hours. And people turn to us and look at us and say, you're being lazy. You're faking it. You just don't want to do this, that, or the other thing. For someone who has a chronic illness, being at home by themselves is not the issue. We do that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
For me, the issue is not my being home. I've been doing that for 6 years. My issue is not if I wanted to go outside before, I could. Now I can't even get outside.
Mm-hmm.
So there is an extra layer of mental that comes into things
Yeah.
that we need other people, I think, to understand that not only it's nice because everybody else sort of kind of understands what we go through on a regular basis, but now we've got an extra layer on top
Mm-hmm.
that people still don't understand. So, how would you coach someone first from the standpoint of understanding what that person's going through, and secondly, from being that person?
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, it's tough, isn't it? Life is tough. And so you've got the chronic illness, just like a student who signed up for 5 classes and they have a learning disability, so they didn't sign up for online classes, right? So I
Mhm.
see the parallel. They just put on another yoke, another burden, because now they're taking 5 classes that are now online and they didn't want to do that. And so they're going to have all kinds of attitudes about that and all kinds of stinking thinking and should I drop and I didn't sign up for this. And I have to believe that a chronic illness, a person who's suffering chronic, I didn't sign up for this. And now you're telling me that I have to go outside. Well, I can't go outside today, or I need to be more active. And so my suggestion to the person is that have you been limited before? I'd ask you that, Nancy. Have you been limited before in your life, and that you did some things that made it less limiting? Was there ever a time where you broke through a barrier? Was there ever a time that boy, I couldn't do this, but now I can?
Oh, yeah.
And we've all had those situations, right?
Oh, yeah. I do it constantly, but that's why I'm in the business that I'm in, is to help other people figure out how to break through those
and
barriers.
and you're good at it, probably because you have coached yourself over and over, and a lot of people as well. And so I would ask the person, so okay, you've had that time where you broke. What did you do? What worked for you? Now, how do we apply that same change that
Mhm.
you did over here that worked for you to this right here? If that's an area that you want to work on. Now, if you don't want to work on that particular area, then let's pick an area that you do want to work on. Again, I use an inside out model. So the client is bringing to me. So let's say, hey, I just need to control what I eat. Can you control what you put in your mouth? Okay, let's talk about that. Or can you control the thoughts that you think? And so 10 years ago, that's what I had to do. I had to control the things I put in my mouth, and I needed to control the things that I was thinking about, because I was a good amount of the population does the same thing. I was ruminating on just about everything. I probably could have been diagnosed with the obsessive compulsive part. I don't know if I had the disorder part, but I was thinking about thinking, and why was I thinking about that thinking? You get into that. And
Mhm.
so can you make a choice of what you put in your mouth, and can you make better choices, right? And so I'm reminded of the 72-year-old woman who said, I just need to do 20 push-ups. I said, okay, you want to do 20 push-ups? 72 years old. And I just need to do 72, or I need to do 72 push-ups, 20 push-ups a day. I said, well, what made you think that? Well, my fitness trainer told me that. I said, okay. Um, how many?
72 years old, and she's got a fitness trainer. I love it.
Well, not a very good one. And I don't know who her fitness trainer was. I dared not ask, but I asked the question. I said, so when was the last time you did 20 push-ups? Oh, I've never done 20 push-ups. Why do you want to do 20 push-ups? I want to build up my upper body strength so that I feel more confident when I'm holding my grandbaby.
Mm.
Okay. Could could you do one push-up against the wall? Could we modify it? Because I want to help you get a win. Because I'm afraid that 72, 52, 42, 32, you getting down there, can you get back up? That's number one.
Yep.
And so don't tell me what you can't do. Tell me what you can do. Can you do one against the wall? And she did. And then she was like, I can do two. Let's do two.
I
Right. And
love it.
so helping those small wins. And that same 72-year-old, she did eventually get down on the ground. She committed to me that she would now take her 5 push-ups against the wall and do one down there. She got down there and she did one. And then she did another one because she said, I'm already down here. Now it took her a little bit longer than I'm sure longer than the fitness trainer. But see, the fitness trainer had a program in mind. I have the person in mind. It's not about a program. It's about the person and coming along their path. That's how I would coach. And yeah, I don't have a chronic illness. Um, I was threatened by diabetes, and I needed to make some choices on that. But there are times when I have different stresses that are added on, added on, added on, that you can barely move. And so I can certainly have, might not have sympathy because I haven't had it, but I can have empathy like, oh, yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
Let's figure out what we can do and let's do it together.
And I love that. And that's exactly what I try to tell the people that I work with is I have a thing where we're setting goals and then we're having small wins that go along with those goals because having a goal is nothing more than a dream unless you do something to complete the goal. So every step of the way that you take towards the end of that goal is a win. And let's look at how you can make something happen instead of let's looking at why I can't do this.
Yeah.
I I love it. I think it's wonderful. And you know, there's no way in all get out that I could ever get down on the ground unless I fell, which I've done many times. But it's the getting back up again that falling's getting down there is easy. It's the getting back up. I can
Yeah.
just
So, pushing against a
yeah,
wall, or, taking a bottle of water, lifting it up and lifting it down or bringing it down, not lifting. I guess we don't lift down. You knew what I meant. But,
it's
what can we do to stay active? I think that's really, really key. And certainly I've come alongside Craig Blanchett, a friend of mine, was born without legs, and yet he's an Olympic winner with wheelchair races, and he is just so buff. Upper body strength is just absolutely amazing, and he never thought about what he couldn't do with his legs. He didn't have them.
yep.
And so that's different than what people who've experienced. Hey, I had it and now I've lost it. And we have to be graceful with ourselves. We have to, as you said, you have to have a good relationship with yourself, and you have to have a relationship with where you are and where you want to be. And so it comes down to, what can control? What can we control? I can't eat that. I can't eat this. I can't eat this. Right. I can think this. I can think that. Oh, I got to work on that one. But then, as you said, creating a plan, which is so very, very important. And the majority of people, what, 96% of Americans don't create a plan.
Doesn't surprise me at all.
And so, then they're going to fall prey to somebody else's plan. So creating a plan of what they can do, little steps like one push up against the wall. And then this is what we've kind of touched on, and I'd like to talk a little bit more about this. Who are we connecting with?
Yeah.
Because I believe that we run risk of connecting with the wrong people more so than the right people. And I call them well-intentioned dragons.
Love it. I love it.
So I might have created a plan to lose some weight, but my aunt Millie makes the best apple pie, and she heard that I was trying to lose some weight and she wanted me to feel better about myself. So what did Aunt Millie do?
Bring you apple pie.
Now I love my Aunt Millie, right? And I love her apple pie, but I also love my future self when I'm going to be down, whatever weight it's going to be. And so you connect and say, you know what, Aunt Millie, I love you, love your pie. I'm going to put that pie in the freezer, and that's going to be my victory dance. And so if it's okay with you, because I love you, Aunt Millie, I'm going to put the pie in the freezer and call you. Thanks so much for thinking about me. And so that's a connection that we kind of have to put on delay. We're going to delay that for right now. And then there's some who, I had a client who said, well, it's just about calories. And if you just eat 100 calories, you're going to be fine. That's why I open up these Oreos and I just have 100 calories of Oreos. Okay, that kind of connection is somebody who's trying to sabotage you. And we need to be really aware of the people who are triggering us intentionally or non intentionally. And we might need to avoid them for a period of time.
Yeah.
They don't have some kind of virus that's contagious to us, but they have something that's going on that could wreck us.
Well, and even more so than that, and I totally, totally agree with that. And I'm sitting here thinking of all the people in my life and in my clients' lives that I know, but we do it to ourselves too. You know, who am I to think I can be of any help to somebody who has a chronic illness and wants to grow a business? I'm just this little old person who's never had a class in business ever. What makes me think I can help? Those little voices in our heads
That
that
have a
go, "Oh,
megaphone. They
yeah,
loud, they're loud. Yeah.
yes, they're loud," and I wind up and I let them. We can't always stop them,
Right.
but we can shut them up. And anytime I hear somebody talking in my head, I go, just what do you think you know? Just shut up. And then I proceed to tell myself something that I want to hear. Like, you've been doing this for 37 years. You've helped thousands of people. People like what you have to say. Don't let that little voice tell you differently. You
That's,
know, you, but you have to be strong. You have to be strong enough to tell yourself to shut up,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah. And boy, we need to be more kind to ourselves. You know, the guy that I shave with is the most critical person that I know, right?
Mhm.
And so the other thing that I know about this though is just like I can be complimentary of myself and I can be critical of myself, other people can as well.
Right,
And that I realized that it's just human nature, that that's why they said that bad thing back when I was in third grade or second grade. It wasn't about me, it was about them, because sometimes I say things to myself that's really not about me anyway. It's just a thought, just a feeling. It's just, it's nothing that is me. It's just a thought. I am not my thoughts.
right.
I am not my feelings. I
Yep,
am me.
yep.
And where do I want to go today, and where am I, who am I going to meet? And so that I think that really, when people understand that they can control, they can create, and that they can connect with people who are going to help them, like you, like who are going to help them win, then
Mhm.
now they see the progress. It's that when they start thinking like, no, I can't make a difference. I can't control things. I can't control the president, can't control government, can't control this virus, for crying out loud, right? But what can I control?
Yeah,
And I might not be able to create um, peace in the world today, but I know what I can create. I can create a good relationship and friendship with my friend Nancy here.
there you go.
Can't do that. And that's we're having kind of fun.
Yep,
What
yep,
can we create?
absolutely.
And then who do we connect with, and who are going to be the people who are going to give me the swift kick in the pants when I need it, but then also those people who let me suck my thumb when I need it. And then there's going to be people who I just don't need to connect with them today.
Yeah, and I think we need to be. I was doing some talking on Facebook today about got over 3,000 people on my friends list, and about 400 of those 3,000 are active, and a whole bunch more have never even talked to me. Once they've asked to connect, that was it. And I'm going, I don't like that feeling. I want to know the people that I'm
Mm,
interacting with. I want to know the people that I'm friends with. So let's start to be friends.
that's right.
Let's start to talk. And I cannot believe we've gone through our half hour already.
We have, my goodness, it went
It,
fast.
it's amazing. Tell us two things. Tell us what is the one thing you want everybody listening to know before we get off the call. And second, how does someone get a hold of you if they want to work with you or they want to get to know you better?
Yeah, yeah. Well, the thing I want to tell everybody is to start dreaming again. Start dreaming again, and awaken yourself to that dream, because you're so worth it. And don't let anybody, any thought, any food, any fitness thing, any financial issue, any frustration, even things of from friends and faith that hold you back, don't let them. Just keep going. Begin to dream again. And that's why we called our company Spectacular Lives,
I love it.
is that we want to help people imagine, create, and experience spectacular lives, physically, mentally, relationally, spiritually, financially. So they can go to spectacularlives.com and they can click my contact information there. My wife and I are blessed. We coach together, and we are just having the time of our lives. And this has been so much fun.
Good.
Um, Thank you for reaching out and bringing me in.
Well, thank you for being a part of it. Everybody's gotten wonderful information, and it's been a lot of fun for me tonight, too. So, thanks, people. Jump on these calls. We do them the third Thursday of the month every month. I have some great people you need to get to know and learn about and listen to what they have to say. It's super fun. And so I look forward to talking to you all again soon. Until we meet again, I normally say get out there, be productive, and soar higher. Tonight I'm going to add stay home, stay healthy. You can be productive and soar higher from home. Take care, y'all, and we'll talk again soon. Bye bye.